The schus of the siyumim of the past 15 days. We should have the siyum of the Golus. The Rebbe should make a big siyum on the Golus, a big end of the Golus. Another thing I want to point out, the Rebbe once said,
you have to listen.
Tavshin Yud, the Rebbe said, Pashas Eikev. It says, V'hoya Eikev Tishmun, Ushmartem, V'asisam Oisam, V'shomar Hashem Alekech Alachos, Abriz, V'sachesed, V'sashvua, Shanishma Alacha, V'lavisecha. V'hoya Eikev Tishmun. If you're going to listen to my mitzvahs, then Hashem will watch his promise, and God will keep his word. So the Rebbe said then, first of all, remind me to David Meyer, please, after the shir. Mordechai, everyone over here, be my shomer, shkoyach. Please remind me to David Meyer after the class.
And after Meyer, you're going to be another seal?
I don't know, maybe. We'll see. If you guys wait, if you wait another half an hour, 45 minutes, I'll go over there. Actually, today I made 2 siyumim. By KC, that's why I wasn't here. They paid me to make a siyum.
Really?
From the beginning of whatever, and I never did it. And I told them, I told them, let me know.
No,
in the show, my national case.
You say KC?
By KC Plaza.
That's how it's called.
Next. So I told them, tell me when do you want me to make this siyum? They never told me a day. I told them today. When do you want? Tell me today. I told them, listen, today's the last opportunity. So I needed to learn the Masechta twice. Whatever. So I made this siyum between Menachem and Ma'ariv. Then I came here, but I didn't have any Ma'ariv because after Ma'ariv, whatever. Let me shut up. Consider. Back to where we were holding. So it says.
You have 3 siyum yesterday night, or today too. You have you have 3 siyum.
Yeah, and I listened. Okay, so let's just focus on the Nikud over here. It says, if you can have a Hoya Eikev Tishmun, if you're going to listen, it's going to be when you will listen and you're going to do what I told you, God's going to do what he promised to us.
No.
Now, Rashi says, what's this Lashon Eikev? What's this Lashon Eikev? What's Heis Vaya Eikev? What's Heis Eikev? What does Eikev mean? So Rashi, I could be saying, so what's Eikev mean? So Rashi gives another explanation. Eikev means a hill. People sometimes there's certain mitzvahs that people don't take too serious. They don't take it too serious, and it just falls on the floor, and people by mistake step on it and do not take it serious.
Yep.
They have different mitzvahs. There's different mitzvahs. You're talking about okay, whatever. I'm not saying it's not a mitzvah, but there's mamish mitzvahs. So you have people that they can be, I don't know if I should get into it. But you have people that they find all that at Tatum, but not even at Tatum. They just
eating meat in the 9 days.
I don't know what. There's different things that it becomes as though people are used to not doing it, and then it just flies on the floor, and people don't even keep it. There's certain mitzvahs also that are very small, very, very distant. People don't take it serious. So, like Shnai Mikra Vechatayim, something that it says in Shulchan Aruch, Chai Vodem Lahashtim Parshezim Letzibur, Shnai Mikra Vechatayim. Whatever, there's different things each person, whatever. But, so it says, Hoya Eikev Tishmon, Ima Mitzvah Isakalos. If these little mitzvahs that are very, people don't take it serious, you're going to watch those mitzvahs. Even those mitzvahs, then what's going to happen? The Shabbat Hashem Alekach Alacha, as a breeze, God's going to keep to his word. So the Rebbe in 1950, after the starkest of his father-in-law, after Yud Shvat, The Rebbe said then that if we're going to listen to the Hirois, the different directives we were given to us by the Rebbe, including the directives that people don't take too serious, and people are not so careful, and then it can be a little bit hard, a little bit this. If even those stuff, I mean, if we're going to keep even those mitzvahs, then the Rebbe will keep to his promise that he promised each. So the Rebbe said each promise that he promised to people privately.
That's what you think?
The Rebbe said, yeah, people.
Tafshin
Yud. Amen. Tafshin Yud.
Before he was the Rebbe.
Yeah, before he was the Rebbe Begolui. And I was a Rebbe from.
I understand. See the Rebbe.
So the Rebbe said, if we're going to keep to the Rebbe's Eidois, the Rebbe will keep to his promise. He's going to fulfill all the brachas he promised to different
He was
people.
talking about his father.
His father-in-law, yeah. And the Rebbe said, till the main bracha, the main promise that he promised Klal Yisrael, that this is the time of the Gula, and the Gula is going to come very soon. So too, in regards to our Rebbe, that through keeping the Hirois of the Rebbe in general, even different Hirois the Rebbe said to do here and there, and the question is how serious people take it. But when we take it serious, yeah, Chitas, Rambam, all the different. What I'm pointing out of here is that making the siyumim in the 9 days, and not only the 9 days, till the 15th of Av, to fulfill.
To see this on 15th of Av.
I had two sudas today. I watched twice last night.
The Rebbe said 2 siddhs, right?
Yeah.
Would he eat 2 siddhs?
Huh? On Yom Tov he did. So he did on Chamisha. You wash by night and by day. The Rebbe says Ma'arev Techlu Basar and Lechem. And the Rebbe says some people live in 3, whatever. But the point is to take to be careful on every single Hayrah, even ones that seem Hayrahs that people don't take so serious. When we make sure to do everything, even if it's hard, and even if you have to push yourself, we're going to do it. The Rebbe will make sure he keeps all his promises and all his brachas that he gave to each person. And the main promise, the Rebbe said that this is the last generation of Golus, and the first generation of the Geula. And we're going to see the Kula Abitis Vashlem. The Rebbe is going to come and take us out of Golus. L'chaim levracha.
All right.
This is not bad.
I like it.
This one is really good. Did you try this one?
I like this better.
Have you ever had this one? Or the Amba thing?
Yeah, I tried it.
I love
Everybody
it.
gets the
What's that?
private
What's that over there? That's the
This is
parsley.
parsley.
parsley
It's
hummus.
a hina.
It's very good.
Purim Tchina.
Yeah.
Anybody want some beer? Before?
Bira. Bira. The Beis Hamikdash
Ira
is
bira.
the Beis Hamikdash is called a Bira in Masechet Tamid. Bira.
Ah,
Ira bira.
also, little?
There's Ira Bira, but it says Yaitza v'haylech loy b'mesiba ha'ylaches loy tachas habira.
Chaim, chaim.
He would go.
Under the bira.
And Bira is the same letters as Harabi. The
Ah,
same letters as Bira is Harabi.
I knew there's a reason I love beer.
Now I'm giving it some like Bertelach from
Yeah, like the guy that told me that Pitria is the Matria Shin Aladir. So that's how.
So
That's
you
why
have to
that's
take
wrong.
it. What else? What's the next?
So I told him,
There's healthy shrooms too.
"Don't- who says that Pitria, you're talking about it's a salad? Who says it means smoking it?
Smoke? Yeah, I never heard of
Oh,
smoke.
what do they do with shrimp?
They eat them.
Yeah, no idea.
Psychedelic ones, they eat them.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it just makes you hallucinate a little bit. That's all.
Baruch Hashem, never done any recreational drug.
But there are shrooms that are very healthy for you.
By Nefesh, you do the same every day?
We know. I did only today.
No, I'm saying by Nefesh, they do it
I have
every day?
no idea. I don't know what they do.
Okay. I was just going to say, at least to me, like here in Hollywood,
Mhm.
Base 37 is the only shul that doesn't see him.
We're the only real ones. Barash does every day, no?
I
I
don't know.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that I saw in the Masechta
Maya
that we
does do
learned.
every day.
It's another thing. It
What
says
about
in
the other ex-team? Daily.
Oh, he probably does.
Well, that depends. He hasn't been every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, now in another, just one more point before we get to the Shir. One of the things it says in Masechta Talmud, Daf of Tes Amud Aleph, all the way on the bottom, 29a on the bottom, it says like this. Kefen Zav Hoysei Medes al Pesach HaEchel. There was a golden grapes on the entrance, on the top of the entrance of the Heichel.
Can be great.
Al Pesach HaEchel. It says Geffen. 1 second. Umudle Agabik Lizonis. It was Hagig on top of the beams of wood that were there. And so when he went inside to the Ulam before the Heichel, there was the Ulam, there was a room,
You're right.
and that was right in front of the Kodesh and Kodashim. So there was beams. So hanging from those beams, there was a Geffen. And he says, "V'chol mishum isnadev oleh." A God, get any person that wanted to donate a leaf, a grape leaf out of gold, or a garlic, or a grape, a golden grape, or eshkel, or a whole cluster of grapes made out of gold. Maybe even he would come and he would have the merit to put up a ladder and he would hang it up over there on this ladder. And Amar Amalazar, but I've been telling you, time happened, there were so many grapes and all the grapes and clusters of grapes and leaves that they needed 300 kohanim to move it. So this is an example. The Gemara says of sometimes chachamim dibru b'lashon havai. Sometimes our sages exaggerated a shtickle, because the Gemara said earlier that in Adam Mizbeach, after the korbanos were burnt, they had ashes in the middle of the Mizbeach, and they said there was a tapuach. There was like an apple, a half an apple, a round bowl basically of ashes in the middle of the Mizbeach. And it said there was times that was 300 kur, which is a huge amount of ashes in the middle of the Mizbeach. So the Gemara says, tapuach. What? Tapuach is an apple.
It's in the shape of an apple.
Yeah. Tapuach is an apple.
Shape of it.
In Hebrew. Kaltapirchen?
Esrig is an esrig, and tapuach is a tapuach.
Kaltapirchen is an esrig.
I don't know, but from what I know, the chakal tapuach condition is a
Not
esrig is an esrig. It's two different words. Okay, whatever. Tziyazoi, but it was says the Mishnah says it was 300 kohanim to take it, 300 kur or 3. So basically, one of the things I thought about when I was learning this Gemara, it says that the entrance of the Heichel before you went inside.
By shining.
It can be both. It doesn't say, it doesn't specify. And one of the things I paid attention, because one of the things that I'm doing now for Parnasa Shtickle is replicating different things in 770. So I realized that on the doorpost, at top of the entrance of 770, this is at top of the door of 770, the main entrance of 770. If you look closely,
There's grapes.
there's
No.
a shkoilis and olive and garigidim. There's grapes and leaves, grape leaves, all over on top of the door of 770. If you look, this is on top of the main entrance of 770. You see?
Has to make it gold.
Eshkel and olim, gargarim.
It was done by
Al
Goy.
Pesach HaHeichel was done by Goy before they even bought
Yeah,
770.
exactly.
But that just shows you. It says I was on top of the entrance way before they went inside. Yeah, they bought 770 like this. Yeah,
Again, they didn't buy it.
and even that, let's say the address 770 also was 770, and the 50 kilometer border. But it just shows you a man's tracht and got lacht. The person, the Goy. We I want to do it over here also. Actually, I want to get. That's one of the things I want to
You're
start.
replicating this in
Yeah.
cement?
Yeah, it's a bet.
You're going to replicate it.
With Hashem's help, I want to reproduce these.
How do you replicate it? Okay, replicate
Whatever it is, it's all a ganze malacha, but yeah.
And then people are going to put it where? On their doorpost?
The guy wants to put a top of it in the door of
You
the
already have
shul or
people?
whatever it is. Many shuls around the world, made a replica of 770. I think over here,
They made it over here.
Kfar Chabad.
In
and Fort Lauderdale, and
It has these.
they did it also. They
Oh,
did
yeah?
it.
That's good.
All
Yeah.
the 770s, they did it. But the question is, I posted in this on a Greek Chabad group, and people went out of their mind like wow, how people were very, very overwhelmed to see such a thing. Like how everything is so precise. And I'm saying the Rebbe said, or the Gemara says, Yechazkel HaNavi says that the shuls are mikdash ma'at. They're a miniature Beis HaMikdash. The holiness of a shul is like the Beis HaMikdash in small. It's a pasuk. I'm going to be for them as a small Beis HaMikdash in the nations that they're going to go into exile. That's what Ezekiel says. So now the Gemara in Megillah says, what does it mean, a miniature Beis HaMikdash? What does it mean? What is it referring to? So there's Rab Elazar and Rabbi Yitzchak in the Gemara. One says, Zabatik in the sea, Zabatik in the Rosh Hashanah Bavel. He says this is referring to all the shuls in Bavel, in Babylonia. And the other opinion says, Zabeis Rabbeinu Shalom Bavel. This is the house of Rabbeinu, of our Rebbe, the main leader of the Jewish people, that Yehuda Nasir, Rabbeinu HaKadosh, his shul. He says that's what the pasuk is referring to. So the Rebbe says it's not a machlokes, it's not a conflict. Is it here? Is it there? Because both opinion holds that every shul have in it the shechina at a certain level, and both opinions hold that the shul of the Rebbe of Golus has the shechina at a much, much higher level than all the other shuls. And the Rebbe explains, where is the shechina rest when the Beis HaMikdash was built? Where did the shechina rest? Why did the shechina rest in the Beis HaMikdash? Because God rests, it says, "Va'asul mikdash v'shachad v'sof." We shall make for me a sanctuary. I'm going to rest within them. God rests within the Jewish people. We're God's Beis HaMikdash. Where do all the Yidden gather together? Where are all the Yidden united as one? In the Beis HaMikdash. 3 times a year, all the Jewish people would get together and be in that place. So because all the Jewish people are coming together, and you have all the Shekhinahs, the way it's in every single Yid coming here, so that's why the Shekhinah of the Eibishter rests in the Beis HaMikdash, because of the Jewish people. B'chol makom shegalu Yisrael, Shekhinah imayim. The Gemara says, wherever the Yidden went into exile, the Shekhinah was with them, because the Shekhinah is within the Jewish people. So the Rebbe explains that. The Rebbe explains that's why it says the Rashi says in Chumash that Nasi Adoir Ugachol Adoir. Moshe Rabbeinu is like all of the Jewish people. His soul is a inclusive soul. He's called an Neshama Klalis, a general soul. That in his soul is included all the souls of all the Jewish people. He has inside him. So therefore, wherever the Nasi Hadoid is, the leader of the Jewish people, it's as if all the Jewish people are in that place. And therefore, it's as if the general Shechina is in that place. So that explains, that's why the Gemara says that Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbeinu Nasi, his shul in Babylonia. Why does Rabbi Lezer say that, or Rabbi Yitzchak say that the Shechina is in his shul? Because that's as if where all the Jewish people are, because that's where Rabbeinu HaKadosh was, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was there. It's as if all the Yidden were there, and therefore that's why the Shechina was there. So every shul of a leader of the Jewish people, if they give it time, that's where the general Shechina is. So that's why I was thinking. So the shul is 770 is like the miniature Beis HaMikdash of our time. So Hashem made it. It could be that the guy that didn't even know. He could have made bananas. He could have made oranges. But we could have done 100 different fruit, whatever, something else. He did specifically clusters of grapes with leaves. Exactly what the Gemara says. What was in the Beis HaMikdash?
Same.
Huh? And I was thinking the shul over here, we should have also at least it's 3770. It should have,
No, just put it up someplace.
yeah, no, on top of the door, it should have the same thing with
You
the
don't
same
have
door.
space. You
And
don't
they can't make the
Tray on the
whole.
side in front.
don't
No,
have
what?
space.
What? No, it's not that tall. From one time of there till there, you can fit it in. Yeah, you can fit it in.
What?
At least the grapes.
It needs
This
to make panostic, come on.
I have to make. Yeah,
Make sure you don't get caught by the
You
city.
make it out of wood, be easier than.
Put that
you
up.
make it out of wood. No, but it's not that hard wood or whatever it is.
No, but the idea is to make it with stone.
Gold. We want gold.
I think it's cement, no? Isn't it cement?
It's not hard to make this. It's not hard to make
Cement
it.
or-
Cement, this is cement.
Cement, right?
Yeah.
Stone will be much harder. Cement is easy, you just make a mold.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier.
You need to
so-
make it.
What are you gonna make? You're gonna make the mold,
three,
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
770.
And fill it up and make it.
Yeah, after
And
this.
you
You can make it any size you want.
You need to grow.
Yeah,
The same thing can make it not too big. That's why the Indians will sign.
Right.
So at least when you come here, you'll feel the feeling of 770.
You know,
I
for
shtickle.
Lauderhill, I was there and I told them,
Ah,
I have a brilliant idea. Behind the shul, there's by the yeshiva that they built that looks like 770. There's a street over there. It's not a street. It's like
behind there, the back.
Over there.
They made it two 770s on both sides.
they made it on both sides.
Yeah,
So the other side, not there's the parking lot, and then the other side.
right.
It's an empty street. There's nothing there. I told them go to the city and propose a name change for that street. I don't think it has a name.
It's not a
Give it a name.
street. It's a backyard. It's the
So make it-
backyard.
give it a name. It's not so hard. Give it a name. Eastern Park. Then create PO boxes.
For that street, then you make the actual
Well, open a
legit
business.
address 770.
Open a business. 1,000 PO boxes. One of them will be 770 PO box. 770 Eastern Parkway,
Ah.
Lauderhill, Florida.
Yeah.
Instead of it being Inverary Boulevard or whatever
Yeah, yeah.
name of that street is.
True.
And he has the street there. It's not
Yeah.
like it's an empty street. You have to see it. It's an empty street. There's nothing there. No, you work in the city. Do it.
I told the permit, I don't work in this
You
city.
can figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Make a permit.
Well, they have to give me the information.
Yeah, but to get a name for a street is not so simple.
Yeah.
It's not a real street. You could name
Oh,
it
you want to
private
name it?
residence.
Naming it is a separate thing. Naming it, you got to go through a different department. You got to go through the.
Yeah, but you could name your own. Some people have
you
private
got to make a
streets.
corporate
They give it a name.
sunbiz and all that.
They have already some. They have a congregation.
Yeah, but saying naming it as a.
The only
Actual-
question is if the parkway is not something you could stumble or use.
Oh,
Sometimes,
yeah,
sometimes a parkway can be just a private street. It could be a road. It could be a drive. That's where that's going to be. So what you know what you could do? You could name it Eastern Parkway Drive.
Yeah, in downtown Miami has probably a street named. Got the name. I forgot the name. It's probably named by I don't know.
The
like,
point is, if they want, they can
something
figure it out. It's not. It's not a good thing.
In Toronto, all over Toronto, they have gates all over the place, all the streets. Spring Gate, blah 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 gate. Every other street is called gate. I was there for a year.
58.
There's Chamish Sharaba, Sharanun. There's
Yeah, I was heard about that. I heard about that.
there's gates all over the place. So Chabad, they made the street of the Chabad house called Chabad Gate.
Chabad Gate.
Chabad Gate, and they made their own street.
Why
So
not
they made the
Wooden Gate?
address 770 Chabad Gate. That's the actual address,
Wow.
770. 770. There's like two houses on that
Chabad Gate in
block.
America doesn't have a good connotation because anything gate in America is a scandal. Bridgegate, Watergate,
I don't know. I don't know these scandals, schmandals.
You don't know Watergate? Watergate. You know Watergate?
Watergate was
Nixon.
Nixon, yeah.
Yeah.
So since then, whenever a politician has a scandal, it's called
Watergate.
no. So Christie had Bridgegate
Oh, so
because he calls the bridge. It's any right?
Yeah,
You're from
Watergate.
New York, you know.
He
Any
resigned that time.
yeah.
Ford came in.
Soon there'll be Mandani Gate, hopefully.
So
Okay, let's learn some Taylor.
Cloudgate is not such a in Canada. It's a good name. In America, it wouldn't go over so well. Chabad people would think tunnels or something.
About tunnels.
No, you don't have. A scandal is a gate. Instead of saying
Are you saying the
a
gang
bridge
is a
scandal,
gate
it's
is a
called
scandal?
bridge gate.
They gave it the name, Gate. No.
Since Watergate, the political scandals called the gate.
Baruch Hashem, I don't know what you're talking about.
He wasn't alive by Nixon.
Neither was that. Yet his age.
And they didn't learn Lamad.
Okay, my friends, we're continuing over here in the Sikha from the Rebbe. Now, the Gemara in the end of Masechta Tainus, where it talks about today, the 15th of Menachem Av, the Gemara says that what is this day, bottom line, in our service of God? There's this happened and that happened, and many great things happen on this day. But what do we need to do? It says from now on, a person needs to add to learn Torah by night, more than the day. And someone that will do so, he's going to add more life to his life. So this, says the Rebbe, has a special connection to Yom Kippur. The Gemara says that we're in the holidays for the Jewish people, like the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. The Gemara is connecting these two dates. The 15th of Av and Yom Kippur have a strong connection. That's why the Gemara is saying, is combining both of them together. Says the Rebbe, in this aspect of the addition in Limud Torah from the 15th of Av that starts now, from the 15th of Av and on, you have to add in learning Torah. Says the Rebbe, that's also connected to Yom Kippur, that we see by Yom Kippur the same idea, that Yom Kippur has in it a unique quality of adding in Torah. What do we see? It says, what happened on Yom Kippur for the very beginning? When Moshe Rabbeinu, when was the first time in history we know of Yom Kippur? Before the avoid of Yom Kippur is when we got the Torah. So there was the first, actually today's Chitas. We got the first Luchas. When did Moshe Rabbeinu come down from the mountain? On the 17th of Tammuz. And he broke it. 40 days later, he was there begging from God for forgiveness. That was Tudish Chodesh Elul. Then God gave him the second Luchas. 40 days later is Yom Kippur. And in Kippur, Moshe Rabbeinu, so first of all, God forgive the Jewish people, and God gave us the second pair of Luchas. What is special about the second Luchas more than the first Luchas? What's the advantage of the second pair of Luchas that we got on Yom Kippur over the first pair of Luchas that we got on Matan Torah? So the Gemara says it's the exact same idea of adding in Torah, just like from the 15th of Av. It says, God told Moshe Rabbeinu, don't be upset. Moshe Rabbeinu was very sad that he broke the first Luchas. So God told him, don't feel bad. The first Luchas only had 10 commandments in it. Only 10 commandments. Now, in the second Luchas, I'm giving you all the halachas, all the midrashim, all the agodas. And God said, I'm giving you all the secrets of the Torah, double. So, what do we see? What's the idea of the second Luchas, which was given on Yom Kippur? A bombastic load of Limud Torah, a bomb of Torah, huge amount of Torah that was not there in the first Luchas. The second Luchas symbolized on a Yisuf in Torah. The first Luchas is only a set of Dibros. The second Luchas is that God is halachas, God is everything is in the second Luchas. The whole Torah Shabbat that we have is in the second Luchas. That's Yom Kippur. The second Luchas we're given out in Kippur. So what's the connection between Lo Yehoyam and David L'Yisrael Kechamish Osur Ba'af? Okay, Yom Kippurim. So the Rebbe says, Sai Avodas HaTshuva. Both of them symbolize on Tshuva and returning to God. which a place where a Baal Tshuva stands is even greater than a tzaddik. It symbolizes on the elevation after the Yerida. According to the Yerida is the Aliyah. So Yom Kippur is greater than Pesach because it's Tshuva after the Yerida. And Chamish Asher B'Av is the same idea. It's the Aliyah, the elevation after the Yerida of Tisha B'Av. After the descent of Tisha B'Av, which is the Churban Beis HaMikdash, we come to the Aliyah of Chamish Asher B'Av. So because it's such a great Yerida, we have such a great Aliyah. And so that's similarly in Yom Kippur also. It's the Aliyah after the Yerida, but then Chamish Asher B'Av is even greater than Yom Kippur because there was a bigger Yerida. So automatically there's a bigger Aliyah. There's a bigger descent by Tisha B'Av than the descent before Yom Kippur. So automatically the elevation after the descent is not as great by Yom Kippur as now, which is even greater than Yom Kippur. That's number one. Number two says that also the addition of Limud HaTorah. Chamish Asher B'Av brings a Yisuf in Limud HaTorah. You have to add Moisif Leilis Ala Yom Lasik B'Torah, and we see that same idea of adding in Torah. That's now by the 15th of Av, also by Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur we got a addition in Torah, the second Luchas, which has much more Torah than the first Luchas. Now the Rebbe adds even more than that. Just like Yom Kippur is this idea of Yom Kippur is avodas hatshuva, that God forgives us. So too says the Rebbe in regards to the 15th of Av. Through adding and learning Torah, from now on, from the 15th of Av, we fix all the negative ideas of Tisha B'Av. Just like in Kippur, God forgave the Jewish people, and God gave them an addition in Torah. Says the Rebbe, through adding and learning Torah now, God forgives us, and we fix the Churban Beis HaMikdash, the destruction that was on Tisha B'Av. Now the Rebbe says this concept that we fix Tisha B'Av through adding and learning Torah from now on, from the 15th of Av, is also hinted in what it says. The words of the Gemara is, Moisif Leilis Ala Yomim Lasik B'Torah. We add night specifically, because the nights are getting bigger. We add in learning Torah by night, more than day. Says the Rebbe, why do we add in learning Torah from the 15th of Av and on by night? Is because from the 15th of Av and onwards, the night starts becoming longer and the days are getting shorter. Therefore, we have to use out the long nights to add in learning Torah. Like the Gemara says, why did God create night? Why did God create the night? God created the night for us to learn Torah by night. The night is a very auspicious, precious time to learn Torah. The night has in it a unique quality that people have a certain peace of mind and tranquility. From both aspects, the Rebbe says. On one aspect, even Bagashmius, if you have a businessman, or even a father with kids, so during the day, he's busy changing diapers, running around, I don't know what, taking care of the house. He has to make parnasa, he's busy working. He has different things on his head. The night, he's back home from work, he's finished, good and now it's quiet. He can sit down and open up a Gemara and learn, open up a Maimer and learn, open up a Rambam and learn, open up a Sikha and learn. He has more peace of mind. It's quiet, number one. But the Rebbe says also, it's not only Begashmius, also Beruchnius. God made the night have in it, God gave a special bracha. That it said, God said that when someone's going to sit and learn Torah, God, anyone that sits and learns Torah by night, the Shekhinah comes to him. Like the pasuk says, come and learn Torah by night, sing through learning Torah by night in front of the face of God. When is the face of God in front of the person that's learning? That's specifically by night. God gives a special bracha by night. So the nights are getting longer, That means there's more time to learn Torah. There's more of this great, special, unique quality of learning Torah by night. Okay, now the Rebbe says, the night also symbolizes on the darkness of exile, of Golus. That's what the night also symbolizes. And the long nights, when the lights are getting longer, what does that symbolize? That this Golus is a very long, this Golus is ausgekratzt and ausgehakt, yeah? Lang wie the Golus, like they say. The nights are getting longer, which means the Golus is very, very long. It's stretched. It's being stretched out like a gum. Long, so long. Now, what do you do when the lights get longer? What are you meant to do? What do they tell us? You got to add in learning Torah by night. The whole purpose is the nights are getting bigger. There's a longer Nacht. So what are you meant to do when the night is long? You're meant to learn Torah then. Says the Rebbe, so too the Golus is getting long. The Golus is long. What are you meant to do? Learn Torah. And through learning Torah by night, which Torah is oil, Torah oil says, made mitzvah. Mitzvah is like a candle, and Torah is light. Through learning Torah, we light up the darkness of the night. We light up the darkness of the night of Golus, and that's how we transform the darkness of the night of Golus to the light of the Geula. Like it says, Laila kayoim yor, the night will be lit up like day. So what do? This is what the Rebbe is saying. When the 15th of Av, the night is getting longer. And what are you meant to do? You're meant to add in learning Torah. That symbolizes that the night, the Golus, the darkness of Golus, even though it's long, but what are you meant to do? Because of that, you're meant to add in learning Torah. And when you Torah is Torah oil, Torah is lightness, and through learning Torah, it's going to light up the Golus, and it's going to finish the Golus. It's going to be Kei Tzav L'Choshech. And it's going to be lichtik, laila kayem yoed. And the Rebbe connects this with what the Gemara says right before this. What the Gemara says that from now on you have to add in learning Torah by night. It says from the 15th of Av, the sun starts getting weaker. Toshash koicho shel chama, which means the heat of the sun, the bakindike zone. The sun that cooks people away, the heat waves of the summer starts getting less and less from the 15th of Av. That's why it says they stop bringing wood they stop chopping wood in the forests from the 15th of Av. Why? Because the wood wouldn't get dried well by the sun because it's already not as hot, and the wood will be wet, damp, and it'll have worms, and you can't bring such wood to the Mizbeach. So the 15th of Av, the sunlight starts getting weakened. Says the Rebbe, what does it mean the sunlight is getting weakened? What the Goyim count according to the sun? What does it mean the sun is getting weakened? The Umas Ha'olam, the Goyim, their koyach is getting weakened from the Chamish Asar B'Av and onwards. All the negativity, says the Rebbe, all the Yarnim built in Tzuim start getting weak, starting having a chalishus. Why? Because Chamish Asar Ba'av Eilach. We're adding and learning Torah because the nights are getting longer. And we're adding and learning Torah that weakens. Toshash koyach shel chama. The koyach of the chama of the sun gets weakened. Why? Because we're learning Torah, which it says Torah is called Tushia. Tushia. Torah ois with Tushia. It weakens the sun, and the Rebbe connects this also with the Luchas Achronis, which are called Kiflaim Letushia. The second Luchas, the Kaifel, is Letushia, to weaken through the Hosafa and Limud Torah, through the second Luchas, through Yom Kippur. Through the Hosafa and Limud Torah from Chamish Asar B'Av, which is connected to Yom Kippur. This is Tushia, this weakens the sun. It weakens the Nefesh HaBahamis, it weakens the animal soul. Ois v'Tushia. And when you weaken the sun, automatically, says the Rebbe, that when you weaken the negativity, the good gets stronger and stronger. The koyach of the Levana gets stronger, and that's why Kai Masira Mashlamus, it says on the 15th of the month, the moon is full, the light of the moon is shining and strong to the fullest, which this is symbolizing on the completion of the Jewish people. And we're strong, the Goyim are getting weak, and we're getting strong, because we're Doimim La'Lavana, we're compared to the moon. Then right after this, the Gemara finishes off and says, the Gemara says this was a day of Shidduchim, that the Jewish girls would dance in a way of a machil. A machil is a circle. And then the Gemara finishes off the whole Masechta by saying that God is going to make a machil, a circle, a big round circle. And we're going to be dancing in one big round circle, and God's going to be in the middle of the circle. Says the Rebbe, through adding and learning Torah, from now on, to add during the nights to learn Torah, we cause that there should be a wedding between God and the Jewish people. Like it says, when was the wedding of God and the Jewish people? This was Matan Torah. Yom Kippurim is the day that God gave us the last luchas. So the day that we got the last luchas is also like a chasana. So Yom Kippur is like a chasana. And because that's adding and learning Torah makes a chasana. So when we add and learning Torah, it makes the wedding of God and the Jewish people in the future redemption. Like it says, it says the day of his happiness, of his heart, of his wedding. This is referring to the what is this? That's the parable. What does it mean? It means the building of the Beis Hamikdash, which will be built speedily in our days. It says what is the joy of the 15th of Menachem Av? The joy of this day is connected to the building of the Beis Hamikdash. Like it says that in Yemei Mashiach is going to be the wedding. So the whole Simcha of the 15th of Av is connected to addition in Limud Torah, which this makes a wedding between us and God. That's what the Gemara talks about. Why is this day connected to Shidduchim? Because this day is connected to learning Torah, which Torah is making the wedding of us and God, which to complete, and this day is bringing the Geula, which then that's going to be the wedding of God and the Jewish people. Therefore, it also brings to, it manifests itself also in weddings of Jewish people that Shidduchim were made on this day. Because we're bringing the redemption, when then there's going to be the wedding of the Jewish people. So because we're connecting, we're bringing the Geula, which that's going to be our wedding with God, that makes that there should be weddings of Jewish people also. And the Rebbe says this is why it says that the Jewish Bnei Yisrael would go in circles in the vineyards. Like it's known that what does it mean Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish girls? The Rebbe says, what does that mean? That means the Jewish people. Every single Jew. The Gemara over there says there's four types of people that are looking for a shidduch. The Gemara says over there, we are in the Jewish people. In the general, there's four types of Jews, which they're connected to the four letters of God's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And all the Jewish people are going there to dance in front of God. And basically, we want to make a shidduch of God and the Jewish people in the redemption. And the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, they make circles. They're dancing in a way of a circle. Why a circle? So the Gemara says God is going to make a circle for the tzaddikim, and God is going to sit within them, in the middle of the circle, in Gan Eden. And everyone's going to point on their finger and say, here's God. A circle, says the Rebbe, is this type of dancing in a way that you're close to one another. Like we see when you dance with a circle. So each guy is jumping around by themselves. Rather, they're all holding hands. And Ashkacha Pradis, last night when we were dancing, and under the Fabrengen, Shemara Beis Hamikdash, by divine providence, we're dancing in a circle. So this symbolizes on the unity of the Jewish people. But the whole Jewish people are like tzaddikim, how all the Yidden are united and one with God, which this whole idea of the Jewish people getting together and one with God and getting married to God, this is through learning Torah. Like it says in Zohar, that through Torah, the Jewish people, through learning Torah, they become one with God. We all become one, become united with God, especially through adding and learning Torah in a form of double portion, like the second lochas, which is double. Through this, the unity and the oneness with God is in a way of kiflaim litushi. It's a double portion of being one with God. And like the Gemara finishes off that then when Mashiach is going to come, we're going to say, here is God. By Yitzias Mitzrayim, what does it say? God was revealed. It says everyone point within their fingers and says, Zeh Keli Vanveyu. This is God. Once it says Zeh. Once Zeh, this is God. In the redemption it says, Hamar Bayemahu, He nearly Kenu Zeh, Zeh Havai Kavinu Loi, the Gilead is Muhammad. It says twice Zeh. Double. You can fly. Additionally, a little bit of Torah. Shkocha Pratis. Today we made 2 siyumim. 3. But the Rebbe is talking about keflaim.
Is number 4.
Number 4, number 5,
Today
number
or
10.
yesterday?
I'm talking about myself and on behalf of everyone.
More.
We made 2 siyumim today.
Today or yesterday night or another one. I have to get Maria to not
I'm sorry. And the Rebbe says this year, the 15th of Av comes out on the 4th day of the week, on Yom Revi. Yom Revi. What's special about Yom Revi? The Gemara says, the Mishnah says, Psula Nisas Yom Revi. In the Ketubah over there, it said Psula. What's Psula? A virgin. Right? That's the right word, not the vegan. Virgin, right? So Basula gets married when? On when?
Vegan virgin.
Okay, vegan virgin, blah, 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 blah. I don't know all these words.
Virgin.
But yeah, but Basula and Isas Lim Levi, the Mishnah says a Basula gets married on a Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. And on a Wednesday is when we get married. That's the day of marriage. And that's when the 15th of Av comes out, on this day. So the 15th day of the month, when the moon is a full moon, complete moon, and the Rebbe says Lavana, the moon, is a Rosh Hashanah, is an acronym of Psula Nisas L'Yom Haravi. Psula Nisas L'Yom Haravi is a Rosh Hashanah Lavana. So it's the full moon, and the moon smells out the words. So you get married on the 4th day of the week. So this brings out even more that in this year, and not every year it comes out like this, this is the uniqueness of this year, that the 15th of Av falls out on a Wednesday. This is much more emphasized, this whole idea of wedding. Because a full moon is the completion of the moon, which the moon means you get married on the 4th day of the week. And this all strengthens this concept of the wedding of us and God through learning Torah. And in Kippur, when we got the second luchas, which is the addition and learning Torah. And when will this whole idea of addition and learning Torah and being married with God is going to be when Mashiach comes, being one with God. And it's the 4th day of the week of which parsha? Parsha's Ekev. What does it say in today's Chumash? It says, God told Moshe Rabbeinu, make for me a second set of luchas, just like the first one. And I'm going to write on the second luchas whatever was on the first one that you broke. And you should put the second set of luchas in the ark. And you should make the ark. And then Moshe Rabbeinu said he made the ark. And he made the second luchas just like the first ones. And God wrote on the second ones just like was on the first ones. And God gave it to me. And they put it in the ark. So this all emphasizes this idea of learning Torah. Hashkocha pratis, huh? Today's Chumash Revi of Parshas Eikev is all about the second luchas that we're given on Matan Torah, on Shavuos, on Yom Kippur. The luchas shnis of Yom Kippur, the addition of learning Torah, is brought down on today's Chumash. Now the Rebbe says in the second luchas, in today's Chumash, is brought out the greatness of the first luchas also, not only the second luchas. Like it says that when you should put the luchas in the ark with the luchas that you broke, which means that Rabbi Yossi says that the broken luchas, the first luchas were in the arid, or the broken luchas, the first luchas were in the arid, and he added the second luchas also, besides for the first one. That the Gemara says, "Hizoru bezakin sheshachach talmudei machmas onsei da'amirin and luchas v'shivri luchas menachem arid." Says you should watch out a Talmud Chacham, an old Talmud Chacham that forgot what he learned. Out of old age,
Yeah.
you have to give him respect. Why? Because even the first luchas were broken, were in the arid. Like it says, like it happened with Rabbi Yosef himself. He's the one that said luchas v'shivri luchas menachem arid. He forgot when he got older. He forgot what he learned. So together with his great uniqueness in Luminat Torah, it says that Rabbi Yosef, on the day of Shavuos, he said, "Bring me eglot losa, a triple, the third, the highest, the best egel." And he says, if not for this day of Shavuos, that he learned Torah and he was elevated, how many Yosefs would there be in the marketplace? Nevertheless, the Gemara says, so Rabbi Yosef wasn't stam a guy who really understood the mile of Luminat Torah, and he celebrated Matan Torah. Nevertheless, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef Cholash, Ya'aker le'limudei ahadrei abai kamei. He says he forgot whatever he learned. When he got old, he got weak and old. So the Rebbe says, what's from this, for every single Jew? Every single Jew is called on the name of Yosef. Like it says, Noyehek Katzoid Yosef. He led the Jewish people just like Yosef. He led the Jewish people, the sheep, we're the sheep, which we are called Yosef. So even when the Jewish people are in a state of broken luchas, they're missing in learning Torah. He forgot what he learned. Nevertheless, the broken luchas are also in the ark. Even though there's broken luchas, you belong in the ark. You can reach to after what happened after the broken luchas. What happened after the broken? They got a second pair of luchas. Even when someone is in a state of broken luchas, yes or no, he's in the ark together with the second luchas, which symbolizes on an addition in learning Torah and learning Torah in a double way, in a double form. Like it's hinted in the name of Rabbi Yosef. Yosef means to add in learning Torah. And like Yosef, the name of Yosef is Yosef Hashem Li Ben Achar. God will add for me a different son. And the way Chassidus, the Rebbe would bring many times from the Tzemach Tzedek, that you turn a Acher into a Ben. You take someone that's a Acher, someone else, someone that's different, and you transform him to not to be a Acher, someone else, you transfer him to be a son, to make him like a part of learning Torah. And this is all connected to this week's parsha, which is Parshas Eikev. The Rebbe says starts off with the words of V'haya Eikev Tishmun. It says that the word Eikev, there's two explanations. Eikev means the end. V'haya Eikev Tishmun. In the end of Galus, in Ikvus de Meshicha, Eikev is Ikvus de Meshicha Tishmun. In this time of Ikvus de Meshicha, we're gonna do our Torah mitzvahs and we're gonna listen to God. That's one piddush. Another piddush in Eikev is because that's more pashta pshat. Because of you listening, Eikev Asher Shama Avram Mekoili. Because, and we're talking over here about the schar of listening to God. By Eikev Tishmun, God's going to pay us up. when will be the schar of limud atayr? That's also be'ekev in the end of days. Be'ekev in the Mashiach. Besoif schari be'ekev. The schar will be in the end. And he knows so we see two explanations. There's the siyum of our avodah in Golus. So basically, is Eikev the time of our avodah, or Eikev is the time of the schar? One explanation is Eikev is referring to Eikev in the Mashiach, doing our avodah in Eikev in the Mashiach, and through that we're going to be getting our schar. The other pirush is Eikev is the time of the schar when God's going to pay us up for our work. And like it's emphasized in that Parshas Eikev comes right after Parshas Vayeschanan. What's the end of Parshas Vayeschanan? Parshas Vayeschanan says that Hayoim la'asoisam. Today is the time to do the work. So Chazal say now is the time to work, but not to get paid. You're going to get paid tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to get paid in Olam Haba. And right after that comes Parshas Eikev. That B'hoya Eikev Tishmir, that Eikev is referring to the Asr life in the time to come. In the end, you're going to get paid your reward in the future. So what's Eikev? The end of days? Is Eikev the end of Golus, or Eikev is the Geula? So the Rebbe says, because all the timelines of Mashiach have finished already, all the timelines are done. Says the Rebbe, can't find God will not hold us up extra second in Golus. Take him mamish on this very day, the 15th of the year, Tavshin Memtes, 1989, we're going to come right away to get our schar lost love it. So we're saying the same thing now. Today, right away, we're going straight to receive our schar, the second Pirish Eikev, that it's referring to lost love. We're going to go into lost love right now. And the Rebbe adds that this is also hinted in the first word of this week's parsha. The first word of this week's parsha is V'hoya. It says Eid V'hoya Ela Loshin Simcha. Wherever it says V'hoya, it means joy. So the Rebbe says, first of all, this is referring to the Simcha that's in the time of Golus, even before Mashiach comes. Just like the Simcha in Purim. Purim, there were still slaves of Achashverosh. Hakati, Avdi, Achashverosh, and they were still slaves of Achashverosh. Nevertheless, they instituted the Yom Tov of Purim to be happy, to eat and drink, to get drunk. All of that is all within the time of Golus. Says the Rebbe, so we need to have V'hoya. V'hoya means Simcha. V'hoya means to rejoice. There's the Simcha now already in the time of Golus. There's the Simcha in the first Pirish of Eikev that's referring to the end of Golus. Until right away, this second, we're going to go into the second Pirish of Eikev. In the Geula, V'hoya Eikev, the Simcha, the V'hoya, the Simcha, there's the V'hoya, the Simcha, and Eikev and Golus. Then there's V'hoya Eikev, the Hoya b'Simcha. V'hoya means joy. And Eikev can mean exile, so there's the joy in exile, or Eikev can mean redemption, so there's the joy of redemption. So from the joy in the end of exile, we're going to go to the joy in the redemption. Like it says that the Geula redemption is like a wedding. The building of the Beis HaMikdash is like a wedding of us and God, when then all the Jewish people will be dancing and singing, and God's going to make this big circle for all the Jewish people to dance with God. Ay, 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 hey, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 hey, ay, 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 da 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 la la, ay, 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 la 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 la, la 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 la, ay, 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 la 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 Ay, 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 hey, la, 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 la. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 la, 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 la. Ay, 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 la, 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 la. Ay, 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 la, 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 la. Ay, la, 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 la. Ay, la, 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 ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 la, 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 la. Ah, la, 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 la. Aha, la, 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 la. Ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, 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 la. Ay, la, ya, la, la, hey, la, 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 la. Ay, la, ya, la, la, hey, ya, la, 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 la. Ay, la, ya, la, la, hey, ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, la, la. Hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, la, la. Ay, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, 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 la. Hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, la, hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, la, hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ah, la, la, hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, ya, la, hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, ah, la, hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 hey, ya, la, 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 ay, 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 ay. La 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 ay 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 la 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 oh la 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 ay 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 la 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 The Rebbe mentions over here 2 lessons that we could all take, simple lessons. Number one, we mentioned this last night. So the first one is that this day, we have to make this day a Yom Tov. You have to do whatever you can. This whole day should be a Yom Tov, so we're still connected. It's a Yom Tov. And number 2, the Rebbe says the main lesson is, like it says clearly in Gemara and in Shulchan Aruch, that from now on you have to add in learning Torah every single night, at least a little bit. It says in Shulchan Aruch, a person just start adding and learning Torah by night from the 15th of Av and onwards. From the 15th of Av and onward, you have to add at least a little by little. And the Rebbe speaks about making a farbrengen and making a meal like we did last night. We made a farbrengen, we made a meal. And then the Rebbe says, by these farbrengens, we should encourage one another to add in learning Torah. Like it says, from now on, you have to add in learning Torah, to add nights on the days to add in learning Torah, to be occupied in learning Torah. And someone that will do so will add more life to his life, to add in learning Torah, the revealed part of Torah, Pnimisat Torah, and to add in learning Torah that should bring to action all the addition in learning Torah will add to doing more mitzvahs. The Rebbe says, so there's two ayrois over here. You have to make this day a Yom Tiv through making farbrengens and eating and drinking, and also by adding and learning Torah. These are the two lessons that Rebbe said. The Rebbe says these two things are connected one with another, with this idea that through learning Torah, you're going to add more life to your life, like it says. The life of a person, his physical life down here, is connected with eating and drinking. According to Torah, a person has to eat and drink in order for his body to be a healthy body and a complete body. Like it's explained in the halachas and Shulchan Aruch of Shemiras Guf HaNefesh, a person has to eat to be healthy. So that's one thing a person needs, to eat and drink, number one. Number two, a person also's life is connected to learning Torah. Torah is our life. It says, Chayenu v'Eidichamenu. Torah is our life, and this gives us to live long days. True life, not just to live a life like a peasant, like it says in Ayim Yom. The one that Alter Rebbe wanted to bury, who was it, Isaac Homled? Wanted to ben or whatever, you could see Leplet, I think. One of us sitting with a long life, and he said, he wanted to bench him with richness. He says, I don't want the money. It's going to mix me up from serving God. So he wanted to give him long life. He said, I'll take the long life only if it's going to be a life filled with learning Torah and serving God. So it's a life that to live like a peasant, it's not worth it living such a life. It's not a life. So true life is through learning Torah. So Torah adds life to a person and makes his body and his soul more healthy to live long days and long years. And like it says in this week's parsha, a person will not live off of bread by itself. A person will live off of God's word, which means the life that a person is getting from eating bread is coming from God's word that's in the bread, which that is learning Torah. So this is basically these two ideas of adding and learning Torah and making a meal to celebrate this day. You're both connected. Food brings you life, and Torah brings you life. And all of this, says the Rebbe, is in addition to the general connection of a meal to learning Torah simply, that when you eat a meal, a person, interesting what the Rebbe says, when someone eats, he has to think to himself, does he remember all the halachas that are connected with eating a meal? Do you know the exact bracha, what to make on each food? And also, when you're eating, are you having the right intentions when you're eating? Like the Arizal brings that down in his Siddur. The Rebbe is interesting. The Arizal brings that in his Siddur in Shar HaMitzvahs. In the Shar HaMitzvahs, in this week's Parsha, Parshas Eikev, he brings down explains the different kavanis of that you're meant to have when you eat different foods. And this week's Parsha talks about the 7 species of the land of Israel, a land of wheat, barley, wine, figs, pomegranates, a land of olives, oil, and dates, and grape and dates. So the Arizal says, the Arizal explains what each one of these foods are al pi Kabbalah. So when you're eating, you're seeing, are you having in mind, are you eating according to Torah? Eating like how are you eating? If you learned, so your eating is a different type of eating. So the eating itself is connected to learning Torah. So the nigla the Torah, when a guy looks at a piece of fish, what's a piece of fish? He thinks about what fish is al pi Kabbalah. If someone's a lamdan, he thinks, what's a piece of meat? What's meat al pi Kabbalah? When he's looking at wine, and when he's looking at this, whatever he's looking at, if someone's a learned person, a meal itself reminds him of different halachas and an element of Torah. And when someone eats in such a way, I go to Reb David, ala bruchas, Mashiach now. Take him from Yad Mamish.
Chaim Lebracha.
Chaim Lebracha. When the Rebbe, wow, very interesting. Wow. The Rebbe says, when someone eats and drinks in such a way, I never saw this. when someone eats and drinks in such a way, when someone eats like a Talmud Chacham, this brings Mashiach fast, and when then we're going to eat the shleimus. That's what it means, the shleimus of achila and shtia. You can see, wow, speedily. It says then we're going to eat lachaim panek. I need to look up this, what the Zohar says. When Mashiach is going to come, we're going to eat like a special type of a bread. It's like the mon, special type of bread. The Gemara says we're going to be eating the levyason for Shoyrabar, so the fish, and the Shoyrabar, and the Ramban holds, and the many Gdei Yisrael, that it's a physical meal, Bagashmis. When someone's into learning, I thought about this past Shabbos. So my father-in-law was here, and he was standing, took like a plate, and he was eating. He was standing, and he was eating in the front, whatever, by himself, like facing the wall, just like eating quickly. So I went to call him, and I told him, no, right over here, whatever. But he wasn't like by the table. So I told him, Loma b'chutz tamid, v'anoichi panisi abayis. I told him, the Lavan told Yaakov, why are you standing outside?
So it was told Eliezer.
Told Eliezer, yeah. Lavan, right. It was Lavan or Basul? No, it was Lavan. Basul was, yeah. Says, what are you standing outside? Come inside and sit down, So I thought of a pasuk. So he's like a lamb, and he's a learned person. So that there's a certain language, people that are into learning, they don't just talk English. If you read like letters of, the whole thing is like just quotes of psukim, the Bavadia Yosef, or you go back, the more back you go, and the bigger the Torah scholar he is. And that's the Rebbe also. The whole thing, I remember Rabbi Broin, one of the Rabbanim of Crown Heights. So I asked him to write a letter to encourage learning the Sefer, Mezochet, the printed of our Malchus. So his whole letter is just quotes of like Mamari Chazal, but he wrote it in very like you can read it. It's like all connected. You're reading it like as if he's writing it, but the whole thing is quotes of Psukim and Gemaras and Midrashim and whatever, like every single word.
Who is this?
The Ram of Crown Heights, Rabbi Broin, Rabbi Shai Broin. So I did not like, I saw his letter, and it was a very high vocabulary. It's like, so I opened up I searched like every word in his letter, and I saw just like quoting Gemaras and this, and he was, and each Gemara that he brought was like bringing out exactly what the Sefer is. That they're combining Mikila, like combining different. And I told him, like, you need to be a Baki B'Shas and like to understand what his letter is. If a guy reads it, okay, it's a nice letter, but to understand the depth of what's here, you have to be like on a different level. So when someone's into learning, he's coming to eat a meal. How is he looking at this meal? If a guy's a Talmud Chacham, so right away he sees, okay, which bracha do you make first? The bread, the fruit? What's the order of the brachas? Is there, if I make a bracha on this, is that moitzi that? If I make a bracha on the wine, and I'm having a mind and I have to make a shahakal also. And this, if someone's, so the Rebbe is saying over here that eating a meal is also connected to Libudat Torah. But Pashtus, the Rebbe says. I'm just saying, you just see how the Rebbe's head, I'm speaking very fucking Rebbe, like, to even say this about the Rebbe, speaking at a very, like, obviously, but I'm just pointing this out. You just see how the Rebbe is the whole life is Torah. So how is it, the Rebbe saying, what's a meal? A person thinks of many halachas that are connected to eating a meal. It's not just eating a meal because you're hungry and you're just trying to like, or the food tastes good or whatever. It's like thinking, the Rebbe says a meal is connected to Libudat Torah. You're thinking, and then the Rebbe says, you're thinking of the different kavanas for each food that you're eating. And the Rebbe brings the Rizal. You want to the Rebbe is bringing the Rizal on this week's parsha, that he brings the different kavanis of different foods. Because this week's parsha talks about the 7 smishas of the land. So the Rizal explains what we spoke about it over here on the 15th of Shvat. I spoke about it. What is chita? What's wheat? Is the nefesh kiss. Barley is the animal soul. Kefa and grapes is to serve Hashem with simcha. Te'ena is the avoid of the levushim, person's garments. Machshava dibur ma'aseh. Rimoin is the different thing. Pomegranate is the different things in the world that you're using out to do a mitzvah. Zayis is the avoid and golus, which is bitter. Grapes are, olives are bitter. That's symbolizing on serving God in the time of golus when it's bitter. And dvash is that after all of this, we're going to come to the honey. What's honey? That's symbolizing on the Torah of Mashiach and the redemption. So the Rebbe says when someone eats food, he's thinking, oh, this he's eating a date. So he's thinking, oh, this is connected to the Torah that's going to be when Mashiach comes, which is compared to a date. But somebody sees all of it, he eats all of it, he's thinking about, oh, this is connected to the avoid and golus. When someone's eating bread, he's thinking, oh, this is the godly soul. He's eating barley, he's thinking, oh, this is connected to the animal soul. When he's eating a pomegranate, he's thinking this has to do with elevating the world. When someone's eating, the Rebbe is saying the whole idea of eating is reminding a person of Torah, different things, different kavanas. And the Rebbe says through eating in such a way, this is going to bring Mashiach. Lechem panig leiv yasen l'sherabon shelo love ha'inin da'achil v'shti b'gashmis. This is the first time I saw this. It's mind-boggling.
I want to know what your father-in-law said back to you.
He smiled and he came and he sat down, whatever.
מי היה בחוץ?
Oh, wow.
Does the Rebbe talk about smoked meats in there?
No.
Smoke meat.
Wait a second.
We're going to have tomorrow night smoked meats?
So
So the Rebbe actually brings down over here, there's certain opinions that say that you're not going to be eating when Mashiach comes. There's no eating and drinking. So the Rebbe says, but there are other opinions, the Arizal says it's a megashmius. You will eat and drink. So the Rebbe over here mentions that it's not a contradiction, they're both true. The first answer the Rebbe says there's different times. There's a time that there will be eating and drinking physically, and then there's a time that there won't be eating and drinking physically. Just like even now, that if a guy that there's days and times when you eat and drink, and times you don't eat and drink. But why are you not eating and drinking? Because you're totally, like we mentioned the story about the guy that was singing the song of Anim's Midas, that he was in a different planet. He didn't want to eat and drink. He didn't feel the need to eat and drink. It says that episode to when Mashiach's going to come, it's not that you're going to want to eat, and he'll say, no, you can't eat. I'm sorry, you have to fast. That's not what it means. You're not going to eat and drink when Mashiach. You're gonna be so your head and your whole mind and life in a certain period. The Rebbe said there's 2 periods. Just like there's the 7th millennia and then there's the 8th millennia. I think that the Rebbe says it clearly. In the 7th millennia, it's like Shabbos. We're going to eat and drink. In the 8th millennia, we're not even going to think and want and need to eat and drink. We're going to be totally and we won't need to drink because God is going to be sustaining our bodies. Now you need to eat. The food is giving you life. That the food is combining the soul and body. At that time, God's light will be combining our soul and body. Just like Menachem Rabbeinu was on the mountain for 40 days, 40 nights. He didn't eat, he didn't drink. He didn't eat, he didn't drink because God was sustaining his body. So the Rebbe is bringing out this aspect of when someone's eating and drinking with such a spiritual level, or when someone's eating and drinking, but it's all Torah, that's going to bring Mashiach. When that's we're going to eat the man when Mashiach comes. We're going to eat the shoyr habar, the big bull, the fish, the wine. All of this is going to comes after us eating. And it's interesting because the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that everything that's going to be when Mashiach comes is dependent on our avodah now. There's no presence. If you do this, you're gonna get according to your work. Similar to your work will be the reward. The Rebbe would bring this down many, many times. It's not only generally, it's in detail. It's actually connected to the Blavik, which is Yard Sentence in a few days. He explains this. At Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says, there's our work and our toiling in Galus. This is going to bring the days of Mashiach and the resurrection of the dead. So the Rebbe's father analyzes what the Alter Rebbe says. He says our work, our actions and our toiling. There's actions and toiling. Because actions is easy. You're doing things. Then there's toiling, is working hard. And the Alter Rebbe says through our actions and toiling, we will bring the days of Mashiach and the resurrection of the dead. Says the Rebbe's father, through actions, which is easy. You're not going out of your box. You're not working hard. That's going to bring the days of Mashiach. Which is the days of Mashiach, the Rambam says nothing's going to change in the world. There won't be miracles. The world will be running the same way. You're just doing things. So God's going to bring you, reveal Mashiach and reveal such a light that's a limited light according to the nature of the world. But if you're going to toil, you're going to go out of your box, you're going to go above your nature, that's going to bring the resurrection of the dead, miracles. So basically, according to our work is our reward. So the Rebbe is basically saying over here, through our eating and drinking on a higher level, this will bring to the eating and drinking in the future. What will make the eating and the drinking? What's our avodah now, our work now here, that's bringing the eating and drinking then? So that's when we eat and drink now with kavanah, with Torah, with a Torah view on eating and drinking, this will bring to the eating and drinking of Mashiach of the future.
The most difficult thing to eat brings the most light when Mashiach comes, right? So
What do you mean?
Meat. It's the most difficult to raise a spark with something heavy like meat, right? So you get the most reward if you do it correctly.
Eating the meat now correctly will bring the eating of the shayra bar then.
Yeah.
Eating the meat then. Shayra bar is a big bull, a big steak. Eating the steak now will bring eating the steak then. We eat the steak now correctly. We're going to eat the steak then correctly. Eating the fish now correctly will bring eating the fish then. Okay, the point is, yeah.
You use more of your animal soul when you eat something like meat.
Right.
So it's more difficult. But more reward.
Right.
Right, Nachman?
And according to the action, so yeah, Menachem, you have to eat meat, you have to start eating meat. Okay.
Tomorrow night, on me.
Some cholent. I'll buy a nice bowl of cholent.
But we'll chip in.
Yeah, we'll all chip in.
He's waiting for Mashiach. He's going to eat meat by Mashiach. He wants to eat the karbanis. That's what he's waiting for. Huh? Okay, now the Rebbe says the action is the main thing to be occupied in the two above mentioned things. To make fabrengens, happy fabrengens with eating and drinking by the fabrengens with the right intentions, and to add in learning Torah, and to add, like the Gemara says, the Moisif Yosef, the one that will add life to his life, till to add in a way that you double. Not only 2 times, but the Rebbe says like many, many times. So the Rebbe says, in addition to this, that each person has until now different set times that he made to learn Torah. So, but from the 15th of Av and onward, the person needs to add even more in learning Torah, in the revealed part of Torah, the inner part of Torah. And the Rebbe says, because God only asks from a person to do according to what he's able to do. God does not ask a person to do something that's above his compassion, his what's the word? Like, there's some word, no? Above a person's comprehension. Says the Rebbe, for sure God gives with a good eye all the power and all the necessary, all the ability and the power that a person needs to add in learning Torah. And the person's avoid is to reveal this energy and power that God gave him. And the Rebbe says so too in regards to making these happy Farbrengens on the 15th of Av, to add in happy Farbrengens in the beginning of the 15th of Av, which was yesterday, last night, and the Rebbe says throughout the day, and the Rebbe says also now, in the end of the day, and we saw right now to make 3 Farbrengens. And the Rebbe says even when a person's busy with his work throughout the day of the 15th of Av, you see on him the effect of the Farbrengen. You see the remnants. You see the light of the Farbrengen on him.
Did you say 3 for Mario?
The Rebbe says to make by the night, last night, during the day and the night and tonight. And the Rebbe says to continue even the days after.
Wow.
The next days and Thursday. So tomorrow we have to make another Farbrengen.
We will. With the meat.
With the meat. Oh, with that guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the Rebbe says to make a Farbrengen on Friday also. Well, interesting. So our Victor makes a Farbrengen over here by Menachem Av Class.
Will he be back?
I hope so.
Yeah.
The Rebbe says that's the day Adam Edition was created. God finished creating the whole world. So by the Friday, the Rebbe says till Shabbos. But Shabbos emphasizes the whole idea of double. We have the double chalas. Everything in Shabbos is double, like the second luchas. And the Rebbe says, including preparing for Shabbos, that we have the double chalas. And Friday, God gave double chalas. And that already starts from Wednesday. It says Wednesday's already like it's Erev Shabbos, which this is the 15th of Av. It says the Rebbe, therefore, he's going to give out tzedakah in a double way. Instead of just giving $1 to everyone, the Rebbe says he's going to give double dollars, $2 to every single person, in order that everyone should add with their own money more tzedakah. And whoever's going to add in tzedakah, God will add to bench them. And the Rebbe says it should be God's will that through adding in all the above mentioned things, in a way of going from strength to strength, we will speed up even more the fulfillment of the continuation of that capital till the pasuk says, "You're going to go from strength to strength, and they will see the face of God in Beis Hamikdash." So the Rebbe says, from us going from strength to strength, we will merit to see the continuation of that verse in Tehillim, to see the face of God in the Beis Hamikdash, and like it says that Tzion, the Beis Hamikdash, will be redeemed through adding and learning Torah, and those that are in captivity will be redeemed through adding in tzedakah, through adding in mishpat, in Torah, and adding in tzedakah, which is equivalent to all the mitzvahs of the Torah. We will be redeemed from galus of all the Jewish people, the young and the old, the boys and the girls, and they will go together with their money, with their gold and silver, the physical, spiritual, everything is going to come along, and we're going to come all together with the clouds of heaven to Tzion, to the Holy Land, to the holy city of Yerushalayim, to the third Beis Hamikdash, which was built by God's hands, Mikdash Adon Yekeni Yedecha, till we're going to enter the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Pnimius of Tzion. And the Rebbe connects this idea of going into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Chamish Asher Ba'av, is just like in Kippur. Like we said, and first comes Chamish Asher B'Av before Yom Kippur, because Chamish Asher B'Av is even greater than Yom Kippur. So we're going to go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Here it says Baruch, and these other places that have its Bekashmius. Yeah, and we're going to see God in Tzion in the Beis Hamikdash, and then it's going to be the completion in all the above mentioned, the completion of learning Torah. Like the Rambam says, when Mashiach is going to come, the whole world will be occupied only to know God. Like it says, the world will be filled with the knowledge of God, just like the water covers over the ocean. Just like when you look at the ocean, you only see water. The world will be flooded with learning Torah. What's water? Water is Torah. And then is going to be the completion of joy of a Chassidish Farbrengen. When will be the biggest Chassidish Farbrengen is when Mashiach comes. It says God is going to make this big circle for all the tzaddikim, but God's going to sit within them, and everyone's going to point with their finger and say, "Here is God." And we're going to say, "This is God that we were waiting for so many years, and He saved us," and we're going to rejoice with His salvation. Watch, even though it says that God's sitting with all the Jewish people in Gan Eden, the Rebbe says Gan Eden means down here on this world. Just like the Tzemach Tzedek said, make down here in America, wherever it is, make their Eretz Yisrael, just like we can transform outside of Eretz Yisrael to Eretz Yisrael, we can transform this world into Gan Eden, and God will sit with us down here on planet Earth. And the main thing is that all of this should be a reality, a tangible reality, and it should be literally right now, like it, and like we said before, we should go from strength to strength and see God in Zion, in the holy city of Yerushalayim, and in the holy Beis Hamikdash, and everyone should point with their finger and say, "Here is God," and it says twice, "Here is God, here is God." This is the God this is God we were waiting for, and this itself we're going to go from strength to strength till no end. I lie. Yeah.
If you look in the Navi, you look in Zera Olam, they only list 3 Persian kings.